Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into a company I'm sure many of you have heard of, Salesforce. We're going to try to answer that big question. Is Salesforce a good fit for your portfolio?
Yeah.
We've got research articles, data, a whole stack of stuff to go through. Salesforce, valued at almost $153 billion, pretty massive company.
Huge.
So we're going to try to extract some insights from all this stuff, figure out what's really going on. Should you invest? Should you stay away?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, this company, they've done some huge acquisitions. I mean, some of them I was like, wait, what? They own that now. And then there's some controversies too, things that, might make you raise an eyebrow. So we'll definitely get into all that.
Yeah, definitely worth exploring.
Okay, so to understand where Salesforce is going, we've got to rewind a bit, right? Back to 1999, when this whole thing started. Founded by Mark Benioff, a former Oracle exec. They go public in 2004, and their growth has been, well, phenomenal. I mean, by 2022, they became the world's largest enterprise software company. But here's the thing. Zacks, a pretty respected investment research firm, gives them a sell rating. So how can a company with such a trajectory get a rating like that? It's kind of strange, right?
It's a head-scratcher for sure. I think what it comes down to is Zacks gave them an F value score.
An F.
Yeah, an F, suggesting they might be overvalued, right? And this score is based on they've got these valuation metrics that they look at, things like cash price, EBITDA, these ratios that compare the stock price to the company's performance.
Right.
And so basically what they're saying is, even with all this growth, the current stock price might not reflect the actual financial health of the company.
So you're saying fast growth doesn't automatically mean it's a good investment? Because I think a lot of people, maybe myself included, would look at that and be like, oh, huge growth. Got to be good.
Yeah, it's a common misconception, right? A company can be growing super fast, but still be overvalued, especially if, the market's getting ahead of itself, pricing in expectations that may or may not materialize.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So let's dig a little deeper into those financials. What are the numbers actually telling us about Salesforce?
Okay, well, first off, the revenue growth, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, from just over $5 million in 2001 to a whopping almost $35 billion in 2024.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's massive.
And to give you some context, they were ranked 491st on the Fortune 500 this year, 2023, with revenues over $31 billion.
Okay, so they're making a ton of money, that's clear. But what about their market share? Like, how dominant are they really?
Oh, they are a dominant force for sure. In 2022, they actually surpassed SAP, becoming the biggest enterprise software vendor worldwide. And that's a big deal. We're talking about a super competitive market here.
Right.
Microsoft, Oracle, these are giants. So for Salesforce to be on top, that says a lot.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
But how are they achieving this dominance?
Right.
Is it all organic growth? Or is there something else going on?
Well, let's talk about acquisitions, because Salesforce is known for being pretty aggressive in that area. I mean, they bought Slack for, get this, $27.7 billion.
Wow.
Tableau for $15.7 billion.
Monopoly money.
I know, right? It's crazy. MuleSoft, another big one, $6.5 billion. And there's more. Demandware, Quip, the list goes on.
Yeah.
More recently, just this year, they picked up Own, a backup services company.
Great.
And then there's PredictSpring and 10x, all in 2024.
So I guess the big question is, are they buying growth, or are these acquisitions actually adding to their innovation pipeline?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Are they getting genuinely new tech and talent, or is it just a way to eliminate the competition and kind of puff up those growth numbers?
That's a really good point. I'd love to hear what our listeners think about this. Do you see this acquisition spree as a strength or maybe a red flag? Head over to our YouTube channel. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let's hear it.
But before you do that, let's actually talk about what Salesforce does. What services do they offer? Because it's a lot more than just CRM these days.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, those are their core, right? But they've also got this robust platform for app development. It's called Salesforce Platform, used to be force.com. And they've got, get this, over 1.5 million developers using it. So we're talking about a pretty serious ecosystem here.
And then there's the App Exchange, right?
Right. Their own app store for businesses.
Yeah.
Over 5,000 apps ready to go.
It's amazing. And let's not forget Trailhead.
Oh, yeah. Trailhead's awesome.
Their free online learning platform.
Yeah, for all things Salesforce.
Even if you're not investing.
Yeah.
That's a great resource, right? To just skill up. So yeah, I mean, they've got a pretty wide range of offerings. It's pretty impressive.
It really is. It shows they're serious about building a whole world around their products and services.
Okay, so they've got this strong market presence, they're
Mm.
buying up companies left and right, and they've got a ton of different things to offer.
Right.
But how does all this translate to, the bottom line?
Yeah.
We get to go back to those financials and figure out what that sell rating from Zacks really
We
means.
do.
We do.
We do. All right, so we were talking about how Salesforce has this incredible revenue growth, but then there's that sell rating from Zacks kind of hanging over our heads.
Right, it's like two different stories. Crazy growth, but then maybe some instability. How do we make sense of that?
Well, I think we got to look beyond just the revenue numbers, right? Look at their services segment, things like consulting, implementation, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's a big part of their business, and it's been growing steadily, which means their success isn't just about selling software. It's also about how well they help businesses use that software.
So it's not just like, build it and they will come.
Yeah.
They're really hands-on, making sure those solutions are actually working for their clients.
Exactly. In that close relationship with clients, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it means stickier customers, recurring revenue, all that good stuff. But it also makes their business model a bit more complex to, really get a handle on.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. So we've got this whole services ecosystem growing alongside their core software products. But what about innovation? Can they keep up in a tech world that's constantly changing?
Well, they're definitely going all in on AI. Their Einstein platform, launched back in 2016, is now integrated into a ton of their products.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Think Einstein Service Agent, helping customers help themselves, Einstein Copilot, Health Action, specifically for healthcare providers, and then there's Agentforce, a whole platform for AI assistance with customer service, sales coaching, you name it.
Wow, so they're not just sitting back and watching the world go by. They're actually pushing the boundaries with this AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What's that tell us as potential investors?
It tells me they're thinking ahead, trying to leverage AI for more efficiency, maybe higher profits down the line. But it's also a gamble, right? AI is still developing. Who knows how it'll really impact all these different industries?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's always about balancing the potential rewards with the risks, like with any investment. Speaking of risks, we have to talk about those controversies surrounding Salesforce. We mentioned the Races donation thing and those lawsuits alleging, some pretty serious issues.
Yeah, definitely. Those are things investors need to consider. How a company acts in those situations can say a lot about their values.
For sure. A lot of people want their investments to align with their personal value. And these controversies, they raise some questions.
They do. And while Salesforce has made commitments to sustainability, social impact, all that, these incidents, they kind of cast a shadow that investors have to, think about.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that no investment is perfect, and doing your due diligence means looking at everything, not just the numbers.
Exactly. It's weighing the good and the bad, understanding your own risk tolerance, and deciding if this company, with all its baggage, fits with your goals and your values.
Well said. So let's get practical here. What are the actual pros and cons of owning Salesforce stock?
Okay, on the plus side, they are the market leader in CRM, right? Strong revenue growth, diverse product portfolio, and they're investing in cutting-edge tech like AI.
Yeah,
They're also expanding into new markets, which could mean even more growth.
those are some pretty compelling reasons. But as we've said, there are some cons to think about.
Yeah, that potential overvaluation from Zacks, that's a big one. And then there's the question of, are they too reliant on acquisitions to grow? Can they actually innovate on their own? Plus, let's not forget the competition. Microsoft, Oracle, those guys aren't going down without a fight.
Okay, so a lot to weigh here. But before we make our final call, let's talk about those key factors. Dividends and shares buybacks. Do they offer either of those?
Good point. So dividends, no, they don't currently pay those, which might be a deal breaker for some income-focused investors.
Right.
As for share buybacks, we don't have specifics from Zacks, but it's worth noting that companies often use buybacks to return value to shareholders, which can boost the stock price.
Okay, so something to look into if you're considering Salesforce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to do your homework.
Yeah, so we've talked about the growth, the acquisitions, the innovation, the controversies.
Right.
Now it's time to zoom out a bit and think about the bigger picture. What kind of impact does a company like Salesforce have on the economy as a whole?
That's a great question, and one that I think a lot of people overlook. It's not just about the company's own financials.
Right. I mean, they've got their headquarters in San Francisco, offices all over the world, London, Tokyo, Sydney.
Nice.
That's jobs, that's stimulating local economies. Plus, there's the ripple effect of their services, the businesses they support. It's a pretty big impact.
It is, and I think it's important to remember that a company's influence extends way beyond just their products and services. Absolutely. So with all this information, is Salesforce a good fit for your portfolio? The answer, as with most things in investing, is it depends.
It really does. Your investment goals, your risk tolerance, how you balance those potential rewards against the risks, that all comes into play.
Exactly. And remember, this deep dive is just the beginning. Do your research, check out resources like Trailhead, and make your own informed decision.
That's right. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing.
Well said. So there you have it, our deep dive into Salesforce. It's a company that's really changing the game when it comes to, how businesses connect with their customers, but it's not a simple story.
No, not at all.
We've seen the amazing growth or dominance in the market, these huge acquisitions they keep making, and their big push into AI.
Right. And we've also talked about those concerns, the valuation, the reliance on buying up other companies, and the ethical questions investors need to consider.
All right, so ultimately, whether or not Salesforce belongs in your portfolio, well, that depends on how you invest and how you see their future in this, ever-changing tech world.
Exactly. It's all about weighing those factors and making an informed decision.
So that wraps up our Salesforce deep dive. But the conversation doesn't end here. Head over to our YouTube channel. Let us know what you think. Did this deep dive give you any new insights? What other questions do you have about Salesforce? And most importantly, what other companies or topics should we dive into next?
We're always looking for new ideas, and we love exploring the world of business and finance with you.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep those questions coming and happy investing.